Hi, this is just a little short show and share on my Surinam cherry. If you get a chance, check out the other video on the Surinam cherry. Hey, it's Elise. I'm glad you stopped by. Isn't this neat? Look at all this beautiful fruit. And I'm really surprised that the tree doesn't have more fruit on it than this. It was absolutely covered in blossoms, but we did have a couple of storms that knocked lots of the blossoms off. Surinams are really easy to grow. They are considered tropical, but you can grow them in containers and overwinter them. You can grow them just for the foliage, which is beautiful, dark, glossy green. Very nutritious fruit. You can even use the foliage in different applications. The wood makes fantastic wood to smoke foods with. Really pretty. All right, as I mentioned before in the other video, as soon as this one gets through fruiting this year, I'm going to trim it back quite a little bit and shape it up because lots of the branches are so tall I couldn't reach the fruit if I wanted to. So I'm going to try to keep it about 6 or 7 feet tall, and I don't mind if it bushes out. That's fine. The Surinam cherry starts off as green, and it will go through various stages of oranges and yellows, reds, light red, then it starts getting dark red. One variety will go to a dark red. The other variety, the two basic varieties, the other variety will go to a really dark burgundy or almost black, and that's what this one is. Of course, the birds have to leave the fruit on the tree long enough for it to get that ripe, which lots of times they don't. I don't care for the really dark black cherries. They're too sweet, and they tend to get really soft and mushy. But I was really surprised at the size of some of these cherries. Now, if you've had Surinam cherries before and you didn't care for them, you might give it another try. They do have to be ripe. If the Surinam cherry isn't completely ripe, it is not good. It can be bitter, it can be extremely resinous, but once it gets ripe, it is super sweet and juicy. And the Surinam cherries do have very large seeds in them. But look at the size of the cherries this year. The best way to tell if your Surinam cherry is ripe, other than color, is to go up, put your fingers underneath the cherry and just lightly tap or shake like that. That one I didn't even have to touch. It just fell off into my hand. And you can tell I've been eating. I have cherry juice all over my hand. But look at the size of that cherry. Now, I grow mine organically. I don't have to worry about pesticides or anything like that. So I can just pop this whole thing in my mouth. I can take it inside and rinse it off. Whatever. So let me try this. Oh, that is so good. All right, and look at the size of that seed. Usually you'll have one seed, but I have actually seen the cherries produce 2, 3, and even 4 seeds per fruit. Really nice. So, don't you want to grow one of these in your landscape? Edible, medicinal, ornamental, great for the pollinators, great for the wildlife. Easy maintenance, really. I am going to come out after all this is finished fruiting, and I'm going to do a pretty severe prune on this tree to keep it a little shorter, keep it a little wider, and then next season, or even this fall, I might get another little fruiting. Well, I'm going to leave now so the birds can come back, because I mean they were really wrapping this up this morning. I'm going to collect some of the seeds from the ripe fruit and plant them. Meet me at the potting table. Just look at all this. Isn't this gorgeous? I'm up in the potting area. I have to admit, I did stand back and eat quite a few of the dark cherries. They were super good. I have my daily dose of vitamin C. Okay, I picked up some seeds, and these cherries that I picked up were on the ground. So I'm not going to eat those, but I can use a seed. And see how ripe they are? The skins just fall off, the flesh falls off. They're really, really juicy. Nice. All right, move those out of the way for just a moment. And I have some little pots here, slightly moist. I haven't filled them all the way up with soil, and this is optional. I'm just going to lay a seed on top. Then I'm going to come back and fill in that inch or so of soil. And that's what you want, 3/4 an inch, maybe a little bit more for this big size seeds. Now these are super fresh seeds, just came out of the fruit. I washed them a little bit, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time washing them. They'll be fine. That juice is very nutritious. I'll just go ahead and let it drain in the actual pot. All the flesh comes off of the seed very easy, so that's not a problem. Just lay it on its side. You don't have to worry about what side is up, what side is down. And I'm just going to go through. 1 seed per cell is usually enough, unless you want to have a really full cluster of seedlings. I got 1 more left. All of these were single seeds in the fruit. As I mentioned though, sometimes you can get fruit that have multiple seeds. I've already made my label. That's it. So now all I have to do is come back. Let me move that out of the way. And backfill it a little bit up to the top of where the pot is. I'm going to mist these very, very well until the water runs all the way through and runs for a moment or two through the drainage holes. And then I'm going to set them somewhere really bright light where it's nice and warm. Now, if you bought seeds online, they're going to be a little dry, so they will benefit from soaking for a while. You can soak them up to overnight if you wish. And then plant them the same way. You can plant them directly into the ground if you wish. Surinam cherry seeds, since they are so large, they are going to take a little while. I've seen them come up in 10 days. I've seen them come up in 3 weeks. It just depends. The time of the year, the seed, the variety, your planting zone, all of those little variables. Now I'm just lightly pressing the soil so I have good seed to soil contact. That's it. And again, I'm going to mist them very well. Set them in a bright light where they'll get a little sun, and make sure they're watered very well. You don't want the soil to dry completely out. You don't want these seeds to dry completely out. Make sure you have them in containers with good drainage holes. Yum. I love Surinam cherries. And not only just for the fruit, they're just a really beautiful ornamental plant. All right, now here's some seedlings, and I was going to repot them. They're a little root bound. You can see the roots coming out the end. So it's time to go ahead and either move it into a larger container or put it in the ground. It's certainly large enough to put in the ground. And look at all that pretty shiny green. This little new growth here, isn't that nice? Wow. Surinam cherries can take a while to fruit, depending upon your variety, your location, your hardiness zone, the weather, how much TLC you give them, all those variables. I've had Surinam cherry from seed start producing a little fruit in as early as 3 years. So that's not bad from seed. Seed is one of the easiest ways to propagate your Surinam cherry. If you have an existing Surinam cherry, you can go up underneath the tree and see if you have any volunteer seedlings. And then you can pick the volunteer seedlings up. We do not have any problem with the Surinam cherry being invasive. But we do keep lots of the areas around it maintained a little bit because they are paths. All right, I'm going to pull this out, and I'm either going to put it in a 2-gallon container, or I'm going to plant them directly into the ground. So let's see what this looks like. And I'm on my little portable potting platform. It's really nice. Now this one came out really easy, but if you have problems, you lay it down on the side. You can mash lightly to loosen up your soil. Check your bottoms. If the roots are really gnarled up, you might have to cut the little root off. And then just slide it out. And this isn't really too bad as far as being root bound, a little bit. Okay, I'm going to break these all apart because I want to see if this was 2 separate plants or one plant that came up with 2 stems. We're getting there. Bear with me. Okay, so this is 2 separate plants that the seeds ended up being really, really close together. And they grew together. The beautiful, healthy plants. So now, either I can put these in the pot or I'm going to put them in the ground. I still think I'm going to put these directly into the ground, water them very, very well. Slow drip really works well when you're putting fresh fruit trees into the ground or fresh trees of any type. Now, one other little thing I'm going to do, and I have to admit this, I am really, really bad about doing this because I hate to cut off growth, especially when it's new growth. But I'm going to come in and I'm just going to clip everything down some, right to the top. Let me get this over so you can see. Right to the top of where these 2 leaves are, right to that node. And this one too. Okay, so not only does that straighten it up some, even it all up, as it grows, it's going to look better for you. But everywhere I just cut is going to put out lateral growth. It can put out 2 stems, which increases the fullness of my plant. And if you start doing this when they're young, it's so much easier. Okay, so this one has 2 stems on it, and I'm just going to hold it so I can come up, kind of get them even. This one I'm not going to cut back. It's got new growth on it, but I'm going to come over here on this one and just snip right above the, well, I think I will. Change my mind. Wonderful thing about in your own garden, you can change your mind. You can do whatever you want to. So now I have some that are really close, the same size, like that. Now there's no need to be really persnickety about it, because when this starts putting out new stems, they're all going to grow at their own rate anyway. And you could get a stem that's an inch, you can get a stem that's 3 inches. But now I have the opportunity to have multiple stems coming out of each cut place. Nice. All right. Perfect time of the year to do transplants. Spring, fall. But, like I always say, you do it when you can do it. Surinam cherry they're just wonderful. Okay, now other ways to propagate Surinam cherries is through air layering, simple layering. You can do cuttings, and I am going to do some cuttings. Like I said, when I cut that tree back, I'm going to do cuttings with practically everything I cut off. When you do cuttings and air layering, you usually get fruit faster than from seed. It's not 100% guarantee, because each little fruit can be a little different. But that's it. How easy. All right. These are going into the ground. I'll water those. Surinam cherry. I hope this is something that you can put in your landscape. A wonderful, edible, ornamental, medicinal, great for the wildlife, great for the pollinators. If you get a chance, check out the links. It's in the description on the videos. And I hope you can like, subscribe, share, watch the video in its entirety, and come back and visit often. And until then, have a fantastic day.